Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hi, I'm Mike Matthews. I missed a show yesterday. I will not apologize because I had
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I had a lot going on. Go! It was called a day where I had to be somewhere, and it turned out I didn't have to be there anyway. And then there was this guy. When I said anyway, he said
anyway.
And that was interesting. Then George Takei.
Oh, my.
George Takei. Hey, it was
Mike's Daily Podcast.
What I did was I did the lemons into lemonade thing where instead of getting angry,
Mike's
I took my
Daily
time
Podcast.
Because I was somewhere and I went, hey, I was supposed to be here for something that didn't happen. Okay, that's a bummer. I'm going to now, since I'm here already, I'm going to go on this phenomenal hike. And I went on this wonderful hike in Pleasanton. I will tell you the place. It's sort of on the border of Pleasanton and Sunol. And it's this walk. I mean, it's a bear. You have to walk straight up this hill. But when you get to the top, you have this beautiful view, and it was not too hot yet, as of yesterday. And so I got this beautiful view of the, I guess that would be the Diablo Valley, Pleasanton Valley, Tri Valley, Livermore Valley, all kinds of valleys happening from this viewpoint. So I will post a picture from that, but it was so good because it's one of those hikes where you walk uphill the whole time, and then you get to the point where you want to turn around, then it's downhill all the way, baby. This would be the only reason why I'd become a mountain biker. It's the downhill baby part. But it was so nice. I think they call this Pleasanton Ridge, if I can look at my Google Maps here, and maybe it says yes.
And here's today's podcast picture.
It says the Oak Tree Trail and the Sycamore Grove Trail. Pleasanton Ridge Regional Park is what it is. And at the very top, there are all these old olive tree forests that are pretty old. No one's really maintained them. They're just sort of falling apart, but it's neat to see that history and then the view. So that was my invigorating Saturday after a Friday where I saw Addendum with Kevin. And he works at a brewery, 21st Amendment. And I drank lots of their beer. I was sampling beer, seeing what they're making lately. That's right, Basil. Now, it wasn't caused by the beer as far as I know. It could have been caused by something I had for lunch, but I had this tremendous acid reflux, or maybe drinking 5 beers will do this to you. Acid reflux of the worst kind, like those hiccups that burn type thing. Not good. So I had to endure that on Friday evening. Saturday morning, I was, I guess, kind of that dehydrated, slightly hungover feel. And then, I was mixing beers with sours. Don't know if you're supposed to mix a normal beer with a sour. I think if it's almost like you're drinking wine at that point with a sour. So I don't know if that's maybe what caused some of my craziness in my stomach. These are all questions we try to answer at Cafe Anyway. One answer I will bring you is that the Bay Area, if you are someone that uses a lot of transit, public transit, mass transit, you are probably going to not like the rest of this year. You probably haven't liked this year thus far. I was able to stop riding BART back in March. And I'm very glad I did, because it turns out they started canceling trains. And they would just cancel trains willy-nilly when I was taking BART anyway. I remember back during the PG&E rolling blackouts and the potential fires, they just canceled trains. I remember just sitting on that stupid platform in Hayward at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's dark in like October, and you're just standing out there in the cold. It's annoying, and you're waiting. Where's that train? I've been waiting 15 minutes for that train. Oh, it got canceled. Now I'm going to wait another 15 minutes. Oh, I hate public transit. Luckily, where I have to be today for my job, I do not have to drive. Oh, we're in Podcaster Valley Mont today. I mean, I don't have to take BART. I was able to drive, and my car has been behaving. And thank you, car, for the kindness of which you give to me. But yes, I was able to get here, and no problem. But the whole and then they have, I guess, a lot of things in place to keep people apart. I don't know what's going to happen. The BART trains that come from the city traditionally are packed like sardines, and that can't happen. You need the 6 feet of space, the social distancing. So so I was listening to something where I think it was the guy who's in charge of all public transit in the Bay Area. He's some board he sits on for legislation. And he was basically saying, yeah, if you can work from home, work from home. If you can take a car, take a car. He was basically advocating taking cars. In the Bay Area, as far back as I have known, it has been always we're proud of our public transportation system. Well, maybe at one time it was. It hasn't been the past couple of years. It's been terrible between the graffiti and they've had to increase the police presence on BART trains. Actually, it was a diffusing. That's with what's happening now. I hear there's another shooting in Georgia of a black man. Get ready for the protests to come back, or they haven't gone away, but to get worse. Last night I thought it was fireworks, but it's my brain trying to keep me calm in the Bay Area. I was in Podcaster Valley, and I kept hearing boom booms all night long. I'm thinking they're fireworks as we get outside a cafe. Anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast over in Podcaster Valley Mont, but maybe not. And this is in response to what happened in Georgia. Oh. So on BART, they were trying to diffuse the situation. They were trying to put these friendly, I think, what were they called? Friendly BART ambassadors or something to that effect, because they didn't have any weaponry on them. Weaponry, like they're Dungeons and Dragons. But they were there if there was a situation that would arise. Let's say with someone being belligerent, they would walk over to them and calm them down, bring them back down to earth without hitting them or any of that nonsense. So that was happening on BART up until recently. Now no one's riding BART, so really they don't need it, or not as many. The last week that I rode BART, which I think was the beginning of the whole shutdown, the lockdown, the ridership was already down 80%, and you could feel it. You'd be on a car and no one else was on with you, and it was awesome. And I'm like, why can't this just continue? As far as I like this, lots of room to spread out, no weirdos in the car, because you just have so many weirdos on BART. Maybe I'm one of the included weirdos on BART. I'm part of that group. So we'll see what right. Boy, that's the longest cuckoo sound effect ever. I, by the way, have mentioned on this show about the time that I got into what was that? The thing that happened with Basil when we were walking at the Oyster Bay Regional Shoreline in San Leandro. And I read the review that I wrote when that whole thing went down in 2014. I saw it yesterday. It's still up on Google. I can't access it now. I don't know where the heck I found it. It was somewhere through Maps, Google Maps. I was able to find it. And I won't read it for you now, but because I've talked about it so many times. But I go into explicit detail. There was some stuff I didn't realize. Like, the police took my driver's license, and they were holding it for a good half hour before they gave it back to me. And then they lectured me. And this was the whole thing where there's a sign when you walk into the Oyster Bay Regional Shoreline that says dogs can be off leash. It's okay. You can take the leash off. They can run around and have fun. And these guys were telling me, no, they got to be on a leash. I go, where's the sign? The sign is right over there. And sure enough, there's a sign, but it was only around the bike path, which we were on the bike path, but we had just walked on it. And this police car popped up out of nowhere, actually just come off of Davis Street. And they gave me the ticket. They made their money. And this is the thing I hate about the police department, is they are told you got to go out and make your money. You got to go out and make a certain amount of tickets and make your money. And that's got to stop. And if you're talking defunding the police department, and that's what you're meaning, is that you got to take the stupid pressure off of them. Because they're supposed to provide a service to protect and serve. And the fact that it's gotten out of hand. Anyway, this is one element from one white guy that just wanted to bring that up. As I've seen it too, and hopefully we have some changes. We got to have changes in society, in our contract between us and the police. We have to have a change with health, with how we interact with each other. Do we really need to come into work every day? The old model doesn't exist anymore. I mean, I used to come to work and literally I was just there because someone next door to me in the office next to me was lazy. It would throw these crazy jobs that they were supposed to do on me when I had my huge list, which I could get done at home 20 times faster because I wasn't getting interrupted all the time. So working from home can be better. Now maybe you get interrupted at home because you got your kids or your dog or your neighbors or whatever else, that's maybe bad internet service. But when it works, I think we should go with what the system, when it works, go with that system. So we'll see how it all changes. So we're doing a bunch of changes in our world today, hopefully for the better. Let's go talk to some people outside a cafe anyway here in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, where we have realized that beer is good in moderation. And that everything that's a blessing is a curse, and everything that's a curse is a blessing. Oh, I found that out from Garth Brooks. I finished up watching his Netflix special. It's a 2-part special. And in the second part, we found out all about his daughters. And that was wonderful. So let's see. Let's wrap it up. Let's say hi to some people. Hello, Michael Mash. It's Madame Rootabega. And yes, everything that's a blessing is a curse, and opposite of what you just said. Yes. Oh. Did you like Garth Brooks? Yes. Did you listen to all of his music when he was popular? Yes. Did you enjoy Tim McGraw? No. Garth Brooks fan, not a Tim McGraw fan. Interesting. Both of them had daughters, and both of them have daughters that are going into the music business. I think Garth Brooks' youngest daughter is a singer, as Tim McGraw has a daughter that sings. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we was just listening to the podcast here, and now we want you to end it.
Yeah, end this thing. Do you know that? All right, let's end it now. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. Thank you for listening to FF episode 2061.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!